It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, gonna rock and roll. Riding on the highway, going to a show. Stopping on the byway, playing rock and roll. Getting round, getting stoned, getting beat up, getting a bone, getting high, getting shook. I'll show you folks, it's harder than it looks. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. If you think it's easy to do one night stands, try being a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll.
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome back to another installment of the 2007 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. It's race number 25 of 36 as we take you to Richmond. It's the Chevy Monte Carlo 500 here tonight from this 3/4 mile oval as we take you to Richmond, Virginia here tonight. Take you to the racetrack under the lights for your starting lineup here on a Saturday night. As starting on pole, Ryan Newman in the number 38 qualifies his Yates car in first, and it's another Ford in second as Greg Biffle will sit in P number 2 here tonight. Third, it's going to be Ryan Newman's teammate right behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 qualifies in third, and fourth place, that'll be Scott Wimmer's number 23. DJ Kennington, the points leader, in the 5th position. He starts in P5. Clint Boyer in the 4, nice qualifying, he's 6th. Matt Kenseth, he'll be in the 7th spot, with 8th going to last week's pole winner Scott Riggs. 9th will be Jamie McMurray, and Casey Mears rounds out the top 10 in the 55. Kevin Harvick will be in 11th, and Juan Pablo Montoya in the 12th position. Casey Kane 13th. Bobby Labonte will be in the 14th spot in the 18 car. Brad Keselowski P15. Carl Edwards will be in the 16th position to his outside. Jeff Gordon P17, and his teammate Jimmy Johnson joins him in row number 9. He's in the 18th position. Kurt Busch will be in the 19th spot, and Shane Meal in the 47 this week. He's 20th. 21st will be Elliott Sadler. Jeff Burton in the 22nd position. 23rd, that'll be Jason Leffler. And Morgan Shepherd's 89 in 24th. Ricky Hendrick will be P25. And John Andretti in the 26th position. 27th, Tony Stewart's number 42. Rough qualifying for the points runner-up right now. Going to have a long mountain to climb. He's 27th. Casey Atwell will be in 28th alongside him. Robbie Gordon, P29. 30th goes to J.J. Yaley in the 10. Jeremy Mayfield in 31st. Todd Bodine in the 32nd position. Martin Truex Jr. in 33rd. And Kyle Busch in the 34th spot. Scott Steckley, he'll be 35th in the 6th. And Todd Cleaver to his outside in the 36th spot. 37th, David Rudimann's 06. David Reagan will be in the 38th spot in the 07 this week. Marcos Ambrose 39th, and Eric Norris in 40th. And rounding out the field in the back row will be Brian Vickers in the 44, and TJ Bell in the 26. 42-car field as always. 120 lapper here tonight from Richmond as we take you to the racetrack for the most famous words in motorsports, the command here from Richmond International.
Drivers, start your engines!
Field roars to life as we get set to go 120 lapper as mentioned. Bit of short track action here tonight from Richmond as Ryan Newman and Greg Biffle will lead the field to the start of this race here tonight. Richmond, always a fun one, always a chaotic one. We see a lot of racing action in the field here tonight. This track loves to put on a show. And the number one thing for these guys is going to be staying clean in the pit stops. Pit road is always super hard to get into at this racetrack. It's hard to leave pit road, very narrow pit lane here tonight. So you're going to see some comers and goers. A lot of guys are going to struggle in the pits as a result. Getting those clean pit stops is going to be the most important aspect of tonight's race. Ryan Newman and Greg Biffle on the front row as a pace car leads everybody into turn 4. In on the left here as the 38 leads the field to the green flag here into the box, waiting for the flag. And we are underway here tonight. It's the green flag from Richmond. We're underway in the Chevy Monte Carlo 500. Ryan Newman, the 38 pole sitter, leads the opening lap. Biffle gets clear of his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the second position. They go side by side for third. DJ Kennington's number 81 trying to pick up a spot early. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 5 behind these two, battling for third place. As McMurray finds his way up into the front group as well, looking to take away 6th, and he'll do exactly that. Trying to get underneath of Kenseth for that spot as Kennington did get in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the third position early in the going. Everybody settling in as we get started on the final third of this 2007 season. It's championship crunch time. As we mentioned, DJ Kennington off to a great start here tonight. And this Saturday night here in late September, up in the top 5 to start. Meanwhile, his championship rival, Tony Stewart, not off to the greatest of get-goes here in Richmond, but he's moved into the top 20 since the start. Not a great qualifying position for this 42 team, but starting to make a little bit of headway as these laps start to wind away and is slowly creeping towards the top 15. Definitely needed a good start to this race, and he is already into the 16th position. Great start as car in the wall behind, and they're wrecking in turn number 1, and the caution is out. Montoya's on his side. Truex involved in it. Bobby Labonte as well. Caution flies for the first time tonight as Ryan Newman leads everybody to the early yellow flag. So we have ourselves an early collision here tonight. So going to see if anybody decides to bring it down pit road early in the running here tonight. Looking like the majority of the field might be about to come down pit road here, and with the leader Newman, he will lead everybody down pit road. So field comes in here, see if anybody elects to stay out. Looking like the majority is going to come in. Scott Steckley's number 6 is going to be the first to stay on the racetrack. And looking like nobody else is going to stay out. And that would be correct. So get a replay here of the incident in turn 1. Looking like it was 4 wide here. Yeah, a little bit of contact with Jimmy Johnson in the middle of 3 wide. Looks like he got down into Truex and pushed up the track into Montoya. They saved it for the moment, but were 4 wide. And yeah, looks like Johnson squeezed the 84 up into the wall. And Montoya gets pushed up by Labonte up onto his side. Pretty of a wacky accident there in turn 1. Yeah, just a little bit of issues with the 48 there. Johnson kind of got into everybody there and got caught in the wrong spot at the wrong time, but everybody rejoining the racetrack here. And a little bit of shuffling under that yellow flag, but Steckley, who was partially involved in that yellow flag, stays out to take the lead. Lap number 8 here from Richmond as we take it to intermission. It's NASCAR on ESPN here in the Chevy Monte Carlo 500. Back from intermission as we get set to go green here from Richmond. Scott Steckley in the 6 car stays out to take the lead, only driver to do so. Meanwhile, DJ Kennington, 2 tires for a lot of these guys in the top 5. Ryan Newman, the 38, looks like the first car on 4, as Kennington will restart in the 2nd position. 3rd place for Jamie McMurray, Jeff Gordon in 4th, and Kurt Busch rounds out the top 5. Update on that 42 car as we keep paying attention to this championship fight. 19th for Tony Stewart on this restart. Believe he did also take 4. But Ryan Newman, the first car on 4 tires, that pole sitter early leader. Going to look to take advantage of some slightly fresher stuff. Only a couple laps of green flag action to start this race, but we'll see if there's much of a difference. Steckley, the only car to stay out on that yellow flag. Pace car going to peel in here. 10 laps completed, starting lap number 11 at the restart here as Steckley leads the field into the restart box. And the green flag is waving. We are back underway here from Richmond. Solid start from the 6, and a great start from McMurray and Jeff Gordon, who are going to jump low on Kennington to try and move into 2nd and 3rd. Kurt Busch will follow on the bottom as well. McMurray, a winner 2 weeks ago in the Southern 500, moves into the runner-up position right away off the restart. Good start for that 40. Jeff Gordon follows into 3rd, and Kurt Busch will move into the 4th position as Kennington, bit of a rough start, drops down to 5th. Finds his way back to the bottom, though. Ryan Newman going to get aggressive with him. Show the nose for the 5th position here down the backstretch. Newman trying to move forward quickly after losing a couple spots on the pit stops, and he successfully moves back into the top 5. Kennington down to 6th. Got Alliance teammate Jason Leffler in the 00 right behind, and Casey Mears brought it down pit road an extra time. Already ran into some trouble on pit road, and he gets back on the racetrack after, I guess, serving a stop and go. Might have been a restart violation on this 55, and it was. Passing the 20 of Harvick before the start-finish line, so he serves a stop and go penalty. Meanwhile, up front, everything getting sorted out. Top 5 or so, single file up front. Steckley, impressive run to start here tonight. Was one of the front runners in the Busch race on Friday. Found his way up front and stayed there for most of the race. Finished 2nd. His teammate Rogelio Lopez getting his first career Busch Series win yesterday. But Steckley in the 6 car here tonight, leading some laps here in the Cup race, showing some strength early despite the fact that he's on no tires. McMurray's number 40 starting to run him down just a little bit. Kurt Busch just moved past Jeff Gordon for the 3rd position, and Newman still moving forward. He's trying to take away the 4th spot from that 24. And he does exactly that. Kennington looking to move back into the top 5, and he will do so. Couple of Ganassi cars chasing down this Roush leader in the form of the 6. As McMurray, already with a couple of wins on the year, having a bit of a breakout season at least over the last couple of weeks, really looking strong, this 40 team. It had been a struggle to qualify for McMurray over the course of this season. That was the number one weakness that this 40 team said they had over the course of the year. But McMurray really finding some strength late, having that race pace all season long. They have had that race speed all season long, about a couple of outstanding runs, and now a couple of wins to their name on the season. And for McMurray, it was really just a boost of stability that helped him focus on being able to get these good runs together. Signed that extension with Ganassi a handful of weeks ago, and since then has really been off to the races, putting together good event after good event. And that Ganassi garage have definitely been the scariest contender up front over these last handful of weeks. And it is no surprise that McMurray has also found his way up front, along with his teammates Kurt Busch and not Ryan Newman, who is making a move for 3rd position, but Tony Stewart and his 42 car, who's been in contention with Kennington for the championship all season long. Newman continuing to move forward on the fresher tires, is taken away 3rd from McMurray's teammate Busch. As he moves into the podium places, looking to try and slowly find his way back up towards the front. Kennington as well, recovering from a rough restart, trying to move back into 4th ahead of Kurt Busch. Jason Leffler, who's found some speed, moved past Jeff Gordon a couple of laps ago. He is in the 6th position. Maybe thinking about getting Kurt Busch for the top 5, and he is going to get underneath this 01. Question is if he can complete this pass, and he does. Busch just pushing a little bit tight there in turn 1. Jason Leffler into the top 5 here in that 00. As he follows his aligned teammate, DJ Kennington, who is in the 4th position. McMurray still trying to find a way to get up to the back bumper of that 6 of Steckley, who is continuing to lead laps here. Turning into less of a strategy move and more of just that 6 car looking pretty strong here in this event. At about 10-15 laps in a row now. But McMurray starting to challenge that 6 up for the 1st position here. Showed the nose towards turn 1, couldn't quite get underneath him. But Ryan Newman, one of the faster cars on the racetrack, the pole sitter, starting to loom in his rearview mirror. If McMurray wants to get this move done, he's going to have to do it quick. And Newman starting to apply the pressure to this runner-up Dodge. Quick check on how far out lap traffic might be. About half a lap or so between first and the last place car. Meanwhile, McMurray, big run out of turn 4. Going to take it to the bottom of the racetrack versus Steckley for the lead. Ryan Newman right up the back of these two as well. Going to think about taking that 2nd spot, and he does get underneath of the 6. But it's Jamie McMurray who takes away the lead on lap number 26. Number 40 out to 1st. And Ryan Newman follows right through into 2nd position. Going to start looking to try and find a way around this 40 for the lead position. Try and get this 1st position back as DJ Kennington moves into 3rd. Jason Leffler, a strong run here, continuing, trying to get 4th from this 6 car, and he is going to do exactly that here. Kurt Busch trying to take away a top 5 spot once again. Newman on the back bumper of McMurray for the lead. Be patient with this 40 car here, but Kennington applying some pressure behind, although pushed real tight there out of turn 2. Steckley starting to hemorrhage positions, losing a spot to his teammate Matt Kenseth in the 17. Ricky Hendrick having himself a strong run here tonight underneath the 24 of Jeff Gordon, his teammate. Elliott Sadler, a strong run at Nashville a couple of weeks ago, last week. A strong run here underneath of the 24 as well. Meanwhile, that 42, not a lot of headway for Tony Stewart so far in this run, sitting in the 17th position right now. Would love to find some mid-race speed, make some adjustments, but has not quite been able to find the speed that 81 of Kennington has had over the course of this thing. But of course, we mentioned pit stops are a struggle at this racetrack. Already had an incident on pit road between Kevin Harvick and the 55 of Casey Mears. Both of those guys ended up at the back of the field thanks to that incident. So pit stops are always treacherous at this racetrack, and it is such a narrow pit road, it's hard to get out of, especially. Could see some troubles for the front runners. Maybe see some comers and goers. McMurray still in the lead. Lap number 31, taking lap 32 here from Richmond. As the 40 car continues to lead this race, it's Newman 2nd, Kennington in 3rd, Leffler in the 4th position, and Kurt Busch in the 01 rounds out the top 5. Looking at the rest of the top 10, it's Kenseth, Hendrick, Sadler, Biffle, and Gordon, the top 10. With a quarter of this race completed. Kennington giving a look here to Ryan Newman's number 38 for the 2nd spot, side by side out of turn 2. Newman trying to clear him into 3, and a nice defense there by Ryan Newman to hold Kennington off for the runner-up spot, but that pulls McMurray further out front. This 40 car continuing to look strong here. In the middle portion of this race, had that great restart and then ran down Steckley and passed him for the lead. About a 5-car length gap from McMurray to Ryan Newman right now. Battle for the 4th position further back as Kurt Busch is going to try to slip past Leffler. He will. 00 finds his way back to the bottom in the 5th position ahead of Ricky Hendrick, who's going to get past Matt Kenseth for the 6th spot in the 17. Biffle also underneath his teammate. Kind of move past into 7th as Kenseth and Elliott Sadler find themselves trapped on the outside. Biffle through. Kenseth not quite, might be able to defend from Jeff Gordon here, but the 24 is showing his nose towards turn 1. But he is not going to be able to get underneath the Kenseth, who holds on to 8th. Newman and Kennington still trying to chase this 40 car. Top 3 have broken away quite considerably from that 4th place car, now Kurt Busch. It's all 3 under a blanket. But for Ryan Newman, who is still looking for his first win with his new team, has looked strong the last couple of weekends, has found some speed here and there. It's been a spotty season for sure for Newman. He's had a couple of chances to try and get that first win with Yates. You think back to Calder on the road course back in Australia, in which Newman pretty much dominated that race, had the lead late, but made a couple of crucial mistakes in the closing laps and gave up the lead to the 31 of Robbie Gordon right at the end of that show, and saw his first win in that 38 team slip through his fingers, and is still looking for that first win with Robert Yates, but has definitely looked strong in this race. From the pole, led a handful of laps early in the going before the early caution, and has found himself right behind that 40 car of McMurray. But that Ganassi 40 has really been strong on defense here tonight so far, and Newman just has not been able to close up to the back bumper of McMurray and make that pass for the lead. This is maybe the closest he's been to the back bumper of McMurray since he took over the 2nd position. Closes up out of turn 4, and he's going to look to the bottom down the front stretch. Side by side for the race lead here between Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray. 4 tires versus 2, and Ryan Newman, quick work of the 40 McMurray, and he retakes the race lead on lap number 43. And it seemed like with the pace that Newman had cutting up through this top 5 since the restart, it was going to be a matter not if but when Ryan Newman would find his way back to the race lead on the better stuff. And he does exactly that. Newman back into the lead. And McMurray not quite able to hold on to the back bumper of him here, just kind of hanging tight, about a car length and a half back. But starting to slowly bleed time as Newman, taking advantage of his better stuff, slowly starting to pull away from McMurray. Just watching him get smaller in the windshield. Kennington still in 3rd, Kurt Busch 4th. P5 belonging to Greg Biffle, as him and his Roush teammate Kenseth deadlocked for the last spot in the top 5 right now. Another driver who slowly started to cut his way through the field is Brad Keselowski, although Elliott Sadler, the challenge to him there for the 10th spot, couldn't quite stick underneath of him. But Keselowski, we've talked about him a couple times over the last handful of weeks. This 2 team slowly starting to find some stability that Keselowski's really been looking for. Of course, it's hard to compete when you're compared to the rookie DJ Kennington up in the Cup Series. Keselowski also a lot younger than Kennington is. But it's always tough when you're getting compared to someone as competitive as that 81, who is looking to try and be the first ever Cup rookie to win a Cup championship. But Keselowski has had a fantastic rookie season and has been fringe top 10 in the points for the last 10 weeks or so, and have really found some strength over the course of this year that they've been desperately looking for. Still not a win yet on the year for this 2 team, but Keselowski looking very strong, more like he was in the 2 car last season when he made the leap to the Cup Series in the middle of last year, as did Kennington. But these 2 are the 2 rookies that absolutely tore up the Busch Series last year. And it was just a matter of time for Keselowski to find that comfort in Cup. And he is looking very, very strong right now. Running in the top 10 once again. In P10 right now is that 2, looking underneath of Ricky Hendrick for the 9th spot. Couldn't quite get him for that position just yet. Hendrick cars in lineup in front of him. Ricky Hendrick, Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon. I don't remember if we mentioned it on broadcast before, but Ricky Hendrick announced that in a bit of a shocking turn of events, he will not be returning to the 5-car next year. Going to be going to free agency, leaving his father's team. It's been a really rough season for Ricky Hendrick, struggling to even stay top 30 in the standings over the course of this year, but has found some strength lately. Had a pretty good run at Nashville last week, at least in terms of pace. But for Hendrick, really looking to try and find some speed that he has desperately been looking for over the course of this year, and has had a couple of flashy runs over the last course of the week. Been the Ricky Hendrick that we know can win races. Hendrick has done so before, contended for that 2005 championship for a big portion of that year. We know he's a talented driver, but he's going to be looking for greener pastures in 2007, and we'll see where he ends up in the silly season. Meanwhile, up front, Ryan Newman starting to even out this gap with McMurray in the 40. Hasn't quite been able to pull away over the last handful of laps. He's got a comfortable gap to that 40 right now, but hasn't quite pulled away. Kurt Busch definitely been the fastest of the top 4 over the last handful of laps, starting to close in on the 81 and his teammate McMurray. Try and close that gap, maybe make up a couple positions here as we're slowly approaching halfway in this race. Ryan Newman still in the race lead, and an update on that 42 car. We start to get to championship crunch time, as we've mentioned a couple points. This is the point where you start to think about that championship. It's only 60 or so points separating the 42 and the 81. As we start to see pit stops, Steckley, the only car to stay out, comes in for his first pit stop. But of course, Stewart in the 13th position right now as this 42, slowly been cutting his way through the field. He's going to have to nail this pit stop if he wants to stay in contention with that 81. But Steckley, 4 tires and fuel, first pitter here. Unsurprising, since he did not come down pit road under that early yellow flag. And you see him leaving pit road there just prior to halfway. Newman, see when he comes down pit road here. Would imagine it would be later for this 38 on the 4 tires compared to most of the rest of this top 10 who are on 2. Would expect those guys to try and undercut him about a second, a little bit less. 6 to 8 tenths of tire fall off in this race right now, running about 21.1s when the best were 20.3s or so. Most of the field has ran 20.5s. Kurt Busch, the only driver in this top 10 with a 20.3. But Newman still in the lead of this thing and finally starting to slowly pull away from McMurray again. And we'll see if any of these guys further back are going to respond. And McMurray is going to. The 40 is going to come down for an early pit stop. Lap number 59, McMurray comes down pit road. And we're going to see the field here start to make their rounds. Right at this halfway mark. Top 3 remain on the racetrack. Whole top 5 stays out that time. See Ricky Hendrick come down pit road for an early pit stop. And for the 40 of McMurray, 4 tires and fuel on the Polaroid Dodge. And he's got a very clean pit road here, so a very clean stop for McMurray. Going to get him away easy. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman stays out another lap. DJ Kennington, Kurt Busch going to come in early. Jeff Gordon stays out, along with the race leader, that 38, and now you see a pretty busy pit road here. This is kind of what you want to avoid. You want to be on a cleaner pit road at this racetrack. There's so much traffic. You have to wait a long time to get out of your pit box. That can be pretty disastrous. So let's see how the pit stop goes here for DJ Kennington in the 81. 4 tires and fuel for the championship leader. And we'll see how long he might have to hold leaving pits, or if he's going to have to hold it all. And it is going to be a clean release for the 81. He leaves pit road. Meanwhile, Ryan Newman, 38, down pit lane here on lap number 63 for the race leader. Fairly clean pit lane here for Newman as he brings it down. The pole sitter and race leader in on his left, and he is going to get 4 tires and fuel here quickly. You see Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson leaving pit road. Ryan Newman, 4 tires and fuel. Left side's going on the 38 car now. See if he's going to have to hold it all leaving the pits here. And not a lot of a hold for Ryan Newman as he gets back on the racetrack, but going to have to contend with that undercut. And we'll see exactly where he leaves pit road. And there is the 40. Jamie McMurray shortcut on the tires, and the 40 retakes the race lead just past halfway. Kennington also trying to fight with this 38 for the runner-up position. Newman on the cold tires, trying to stay second at least. Kennington fighting on his outside. Newman trying to get heat into the tires, and he is not going to be able to stay with Kennington. 81 takes second. Meanwhile, you look back at Tony Stewart. Not a bad pit stop for this 42. Stays right around where he was before. Should be in the 12th position behind this 13 of Marcos Ambrose, who's having himself yet another good run here tonight. See if he can keep it together. Got involved in an accident last week from the top 5. It was a really rough break for that 13 team. But in the top 15 right now, Scott Steckley, after the 4 tires and fuel early for him, sits in 7th. Jeff Gordon rounds out the top 5 in the 24C Bithell in 6th. 4th is Kurt Busch. Third place, 38 of Ryan Newman. DJ Kennington took that 2nd spot from him. And McMurray with the undercut, a comfortable lead for the 40 car. And you see him starting to begin to contend with lap traffic here, as that's the 89 of Morgan Shepherd in his Dodge on the outside. McMurray will dispose of him and put him a lap down, and now you start to deal with lap traffic. JJ Yaley, a rough race here. Todd Cleaver, 2nd Cup starting in 98, running in the 39th spot. But a comfortable gap for McMurray thanks to the undercut. Puts him out in the lead. He's got about a 10-15 car length gap to that 81 of DJ Kennington, who has taken away that 2nd spot. See if Newman starting to fall backwards a little bit. Maybe he went the wrong way on adjustments, or everybody else made better adjustments than him as he loses the 3rd spot to Kurt Busch. See if they can dial that thing back in. But issues for Robbie Gordon, who was blowing up and smoke down on the racetrack, and this is going to bring out the 2nd caution of the night. So buffer erased for Jamie McMurray, who is going to have the lead at the yellow flag. Robbie Gordon is going to retire from the race with engine trouble here tonight. And we are under caution for the 2nd time here from Richmond. See if anybody decides to make another pit stop. Would imagine these guys are good to the end on fuel. But they are. At least a couple of them are going to make this pit stop here. Morgan Shepherd going to be the lucky dog. Kurt Busch is going to stay out. Meanwhile, McMurray down pit road. Newman, Jeff Gordon, pretty much everybody else going to go down pit road here. Kurt Busch going to gamble a little bit. But McMurray, the race leader, in on his left. For 4 tires and fuel. Maybe just 2. Let's see what the move is. And it is going to be just 4. No, it is going to be 4 tires for McMurray. See if anybody goes with 2. Jimmy Johnson did. And McMurray is away. Tight race. Jeff Gordon's going to have him beat off a pit road here. And Ryan Newman is in front of all of them. So it looked like 2 tires for that 38 is going to be the answer for Newman. And that is correct. See what the move was for Kennington. 4 tires for him. So a bit more split strategy here. Going to see the lap cars come down pit road. Todd Cleaver's number 98 also stayed out under that yellow flag. He was way down in the 30s. Moves into the 2nd position. Lap number 73 here from Richmond as Kurt Busch stays out to take the lead. We'll take it to intermission. It's NASCAR on ESPN here from the Chevy Monte Carlo 500. Back from intermission as we get set to go green here from Richmond. Kurt Busch stays out. He's going to be your race leader in that 01 car. Second place is going to be Todd Cleaver in the 98 after he also stays out under the yellow flag. Third place is going to be Ryan Newman in that 38. 2 tires for him and Jeff Gordon. Third and fourth, Jamie McMurray, first car on 4 tires. He's going to be in the 5th position here as we get set to go green. Pace car going to peel in on the left. Coming to the restart with Kurt Busch in the race lead into the restart box. Got the green flag waves, and we are back underway. Great start for that 01. Getting the jump on Cleaver as we race off towards turn number 1. Newman trying to get underneath of that 98 right away here as we head down the backstretch into 3. Cleaver shuts the door on him for the moment. Field back up to speed down the backstretch. Newman trying to find a way through. Drive-through penalty, I believe, was issued to the 54 of Mayfield this time. Yes, it was, as he got underneath. And actually, a couple of cars went down pit road there. 84 and 19 were also in the pits. They rejoined the racetrack. So quite a few restart violations there. Pretty stacked up outside the top 10. You see Stewart kind of stuck up on that outside lane right now, falling backwards just a little bit as he drops almost outside the top 20. Should get in front of the 07 here. Maybe not, going to actually be on the outside of Kane, so Stewart's still dropping backwards. Meanwhile, up front, Todd Cleaver has been disposed of by the top 5 as he starts to slide backwards on the older tires. Jason Leffler, Ricky Hendrick looking to work on him. This time by here, Kurt Busch in the lead. 40 laps to go here from Richmond as we start to get towards crunch time in this race. Newman and Jeff Gordon looking to chase this 01 down. McMurray and Kennington both on 4 tires, if I am not mistaken. Might be just that 40. I'm not sure if the 81 took 4 or 2. Would like to check. It was 4 tires for Kennington. So both of these cars looking like they might be the cars to beat if this goes green. They're going to have to start making up time here, and Jeff Gordon, meanwhile, looking to maybe take away second place from this 38. But Newman shuts the door on the 24 in turn 3. As they are all fighting for first dibs to try and chase down Kurt Busch, who stayed out under that last yellow flag. Kennington way up the racetrack from 5th. Leffler and Ricky Hendrick entering the conversation back there as well. Worth checking their set strategy right now. As it was 2 tires for Leffler, and I would imagine the 5 car, no, 4 tires on Ricky Hendrick's number 5 as well. So potentially some speed brewing from the 5. Leffler has also been up front all night, so the 2 tires might not matter. It was only about 10 laps after the yellow flag, or excuse me, after the pit stops that the yellow flag came out. Gordon has dropped off of Ryan Newman a little bit. McMurray kind of pushed tight following him into turn 1. Tried to make a move, couldn't quite do it. Newman starting to close on the 01 of Kurt Busch to try and take away this lead. Down the backstretch. 35 taking 34 to go at the line as Newman continuing to try and chase him down. Jeff Gordon still within a shouting chance in 3rd. McMurray and Kennington, the 2 long-run cars, brewing further back. Trying to figure something out here. Got the left sides compared to these guys up front. But the question is if they can take advantage of those fresher tires. Kurt Busch has done a great job managing his speed on this run. has not lost a whole lot of time to Newman over the last couple laps. In fact, might be pulling away just a little bit. That 38 still trying to find some speed. Hasn't quite been able to do it yet. Jeff Gordon in the 24 still right behind him. McMurray starting to show his nose as well. Getting bigger in that rear view mirror. Him and Gordon, a little bit of a mistake there out of turn 2. Kennington going to show that front end going into 3, but didn't quite get underneath McMurray for the spot. Still the top 5 unchanged. As they're starting to run out of laps here, and Kurt Busch is looking like he's got enough speed to hold these guys off. Question is if any of them can get up to him. Kennington again trying for the 4th spot. McMurray once again shuts the door on him. But Kennington will not be denied down the front stretch this time. Gonna get underneath towards turn 1. McMurray trying to shut it on him and hold off that 81. And again, beautiful defense from McMurray holding off the points leader. 30 to go here. Newman starting to close back up just a little bit on that 01 of Kurt Busch. But he's got to get there to make that move. Had a great entrance to turn 1 that time. Got to set him up for the front stretch, see if he can make this move work. And he does close the gap up to the back bumper. Here comes Ryan Newman. Taking a look towards turn 1, and here comes the 38 on the bottom. Newman underneath, and the 38 retakes the race lead here from Richmond. Jeff Gordon trying to follow suit in 2nd place. And he does stay underneath of that 01. Can Kurt outdrive him off of turn 4? He cannot. McMurray and Kennington into the picture as well. Leffler and Ricky Hendricks still lurking in 6th and 7th. McMurray sideways out of turn 2. Kennington almost got boxed in, almost got into the 01. And McMurray's looking for 2nd place on the 24 of Jeff Gordon. And he has got it. McMurray into the runner-up spot, but DJ Kennington is again going to take a look underneath this 40 down the front stretch. Side by side into turn 1. And this time, Kennington will not be denied. The 81 should have this move complete going into turn 3, and he moves back into the runner-up spot and is now going to have a shot to try and run down Ryan Newman for the lead and potentially the win. But Kurt Busch got a little aggressive into turn 1, but could not quite get underneath. Kennington clear for 2nd. How about this 00 Jason Leffler moving into the top 5 again? Jeff Gordon starting to slip backwards. Biffle moves into 6th. A bit of surprise from the 16 finding his way up front late. McMurray would really like to get around his teammate here. Does not want Kennington to start to run away. But not really gaining a whole lot of time on his teammate Kurt Busch despite the tire advantage. Newman, a pretty significant gap for the lead. He's got a 2nd on Kennington, but Kennington's got the better tires. McMurray closing up on his teammate towards turn 1. See if he makes the dive bomb here. Does not. Really hoping to set him up here. He has to get around this 01. Gonna be patient into turn 3. Try and set him up off of 4. But Kurt Busch beat him back to the gas. 20 to go here from Richmond. And Kennington is slowly starting to reel this 38 in. It's been heartbreak before earlier in the season for Newman on multiple occasions. He's been so close to that first win with Yates. Had that lead late at Calder. We mentioned it earlier in the race. Gave up the lead to Robbie Gordon right at the very end. Pocono earlier this year as well, just a handful of weeks ago. got so close to getting that win at Pocono, and it was once again Robbie Gordon, if I'm not mistaken, who beat him out for that win. There is no 31 car in sight. Robbie Gordon out of this race with engine trouble, but he's got less than 20 to go. But Kennington is starting to reel the 38 back in. McMurray starting to look a little impatient with his teammate. It looks like he's kind of been taken out of it by this 01, barring a yellow flag. Crazier things have happened at Richmond. Kennington within just 3 car lengths of the 38 for the lead. Newman trying to run and hide. Kennington a little bit higher there in 1 and 2. Made a little bit of a mistake. Newman gains time back running towards turn 3. It's got to hit perfect laps like that. 15 to go from Richmond. Kurt Busch has started to pull away from McMurray. It's just between these top 2 now, barring a caution flag. We've seen the tire game at this racetrack before. Last time we had a tire strategy win, it was between a Ford and a Chevrolet. It was Carl Edwards at this very racetrack who held on to the win late. It was the 20 car, driven then by Tony Stewart, and the 17 of Kenseth knocking at the door of the 97 of Edwards, who held them off for nearly 20 laps on less tires. But DJ Kennington is right on the back bumper of another Ford right now. Ryan Newman in the lead late, closing in on 10 to go, but Kennington is knocking on the door of the Cabela's Ford. Push tight in turn 4. Newman gains a little bit of an advantage. McMurray has moved through into P3, but don't think he's got enough time. Kennington way up the racetrack in turn 2. Newman pulls away again. Can McMurray close up and make it a 3-horse race? Newman pulled a big gap, had a huge run out of turn 4. Had a big run down the front straightaway and made up a lot of time, but Kennington once again better in 1 and 2. Pushed a little tight in the middle of 3 and 4, carried a lot of speed. 10 laps to go. Kennington still knocking on the door. Newman another good exit out of turn 2. McMurray lurking in 3rd. You gotta imagine that 81's gotta set him up out of turn 4, but Newman has been great on corner exit these last handful of laps. Kennington up to the back bumper again, and again pushes tight in the wake. Struggling to find grip on that right front. Newman still in the lead. 8 laps left. Kennington is trying to find a way around, while McMurray still faster than the both of them. Newman again doing a great job of keeping about a car length to a half a car length buffer, so Kennington isn't close enough to pull down and make that move. But this is the best Kennington has looked out of turn 4 since he got to the back bumper of this 38. Looking down to the inside for the lead towards turn 1. Side by side between the 38 and the 81 up front, and DJ Kennington has stolen the lead. Unbelievable. 6 laps to go as DJ Kennington is now looking for his 6th win of 2007. This time through turns 3 and 4, 5 laps to go for Kennington. Newman falling into the clutches of McMurray, who has ran out of time. Kennington running away with it, coming to 4 to go. Biffle in 4th. Casey Kane has found his way into the top 5 late in this race. And the 42 of Tony Stewart, mired back in the 14th position right now. And Kurt Busch ran out of fuel at the end of this race. Came down pit road to top off. He will finish way down the order. McMurray taking away the 2nd spot as Kennington rounding turn 4, coming to just 2 laps to go. Cleaver out of fuel as well. But these guys should have plenty enough to make it to the end of this race. Down the back stretch, and this time into turns 3 and 4. Couple more out of fuel. Todd Bodine, the 77. White flag waving one more time around for DJ Kennington. It has been an absolutely unbelievable rookie season for this young man, DJ Kennington. 5 wins on the season already this year. 1 last week. He's going to do it again tonight. DJ Kennington, win number 6 here at Richmond, and opens up the championship lead. McMurray comes up just shy in 2nd. Newman, heartbreak again in 3rd. 4th is going to be Greg Biffle. And 5th place is going to belong to that 12, Casey Kane. And DJ Kennington does it again here at Richmond. 6th win of this season. An unbelievable rookie campaign for the man coming across from the Canadian Series. Everybody knew he was going to make a run at the championship this year, but they didn't imagine it would be quite like this. Kennington collects his 6th win of 2007 here tonight. He's the winner of the Chevy Monte Carlo 500. That will do it for the race here tonight from Richmond. Race number 25 is in the books, and Kennington wins once again. Next week, we'll take it to race number 26. It'll be the Protection 1 200, first ever NASCAR Cup Series event held at Road Atlanta for race number 26. Well, I've been your host, Caden Rife. It's been a pleasure to have you along as always. We'll see you next time, and have yourself a good one.
It's a long way to the top.